YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. Today it's another Fantasy Premier League video, and we're going to discuss the points from what was a very dismal Game Week 7, and we have officially played the wildcard button, and I'm going to run you through my current Game Week 8 draft and potential changes I may make. If you are excited for the video, give it a like, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let me know in the comment section down below if you've played your wildcard, if you're planning on playing your wildcard, or if you're holding it for Game Weeks 9, 10, or Game Week 19. Now, I have mentioned in the last couple of videos I was planning for Game Week 9, 10, or 19 wildcard, and last week we went through a massive big breakdown of a Game Week 19 wildcard and how we plan to get there. However, a few things have changed in this squad. We have got, obviously, Trippier that has been killing my rank, and we did get a red arrow. And we've got also a team that had Morris, Kabore, Colwell, whose fixtures were about to turn, and we've now got the news of Stupian is out for the next few weeks. What that means is my team is a little bit behind the template, and I know that you guys might be thinking, oh, template, you can't win FPL with the template. I understand. I do have some rough picks, and we've had Salah since the start, which has been great. Madison since the start, which has been fantastic. But you also have the likes of Mbeumo, who's blanking. Bruno's not been good. And we do need a wild card to fix this team. Let's go into the spreadsheet, because I know you guys love the spreadsheet. Our rank, unfortunately, for the game week was not particularly great, over 3,900. I think anything between 1.5 to 3 is okay. And anything under 1.5 of a game week is usually pretty good for a green arrow. As you can see, our rank only went down 70k, which it isn't the biggest red arrow, but it's a red arrow. I will say that if it wasn't for Captain Morris, Captain Fantastic, Levi Colwell doing his bits, then yeah, we would have had a really bad week. At one stage after the Saturday night games for us here in Australia, I was outside the top 500k, so the claw it back wasn't too bad at all. If you have a look at the actual points there, Pickford with another 1-pointer, but I was kind of knowing that was going to happen. That's why Captain Morris. Kabore was Kabore. Colwell was fantastic, and look, if the fixtures for Chelsea were good, I would hold him all day long. He is definitely someone I'm bringing back in when the fixtures swing again, because I don't see a world where he does not play left back in this current system, or at least play centre back. He is Chelsea's best defender. Stupian came off at halftime with what's apparent to be a muscle injury, maybe a blessing in disguise, because he would have got more negative points if he stayed on the park. Salah is Salah. We obviously don't need to speak too much about the Liverpool game, being a Liverpool fan. We know it was a goal. We know the referees made mistakes. It does happen in football. I could sit here and complain about all sorts of things. Instead, I'm just going to say it should be another return. I have no issues with Mohamed Salah. Saka gave away 2 penalties on a different day. We have a hat-trick from Saka, and I've got a green arrow, so it is what it is. Madison looked unbelievable with no returns. Mbeumo blanked again, and Bruno Fernandes, yet again, with the story it's been for United, didn't create too much, but unlucky not to get a penalty. I don't know what they have to do to not be given penalties. Maybe it's just the English FA repaying all the teams back for all the penalties Howard Webb used to give them. There's my little cheeky bit, comment for the video. But yeah, Bruno should definitely have had at least a penalty and a chance to score from the spot in the United game. Haaland blanked, and that was made my choice to captain even Morris even better, who did look very good in the first game and had moments in the second game. There is a world where he gets a couple of extra returns. I am still very annoyed that Pickford, who gets 1 point, pulls off a world-class save where he headers one for the first goal that they scored in that game. And it's either Pickford onto the bar or the bar going down and in, and Pickford's paid this worldy of a save before it's bundled over the line. If that goes in, Morris gets, quite a few extra points, and this could be nearly a very even week. If you look at that team, we made all the correct decisions in captaining Morris, keeping Saka in the side. Unfortunately, there was no way I was going to put Udogie ahead of a Stupian, to play, and Botman not playing hurt. But with this being said, with the team we had, we probably did the best we could. And it just shows that this team is so far behind the 8 ball. If I'm making the best captaincy decisions and I'm still nowhere near a green arrow. And that's mainly down to the ownership of Trippier and the Newcastle defence. Let's go into my current draft, and then I'll bring it up on Fantasy Football Hub and tell you about my future plans. At the moment, I've got the Areola and Turner rotation. I'm yet to get a clean sheet from a goalkeeper this year. I don't see a world where Turner gets dropped, even though he didn't have the best of game on the weekend. I just think he's got the number 1 shirt. He will be fine. And Odyssey's which is the new keeper's first name, will be the backup for the foreseeable future. Even if it's not, Turner is a 4.0. It's in the team. I don't mind. It's all okay. Ariola, after the next two fixtures where I play Turner against Palace and I do believe he gets Luton by memory. Yes, it is. I then play Ariola long term with the very good fixtures that West Ham move into. As you can see from game week 10, we could expect a few clean sheets and maybe finally get some points from our goalkeeper. I think he's a great guy to have in. In the back, a lot of people went without Udoji on last week's game week wildcard. I have got Udoji, and it's mainly because for the next two game weeks, he goes with a Luton and Fulham, and then followed by Palace. And especially with Eze being out, he might be even a hold till game week 11. That means that we've got, obviously, a triple up here with Maddison and Son. They've been in the team long term. I'm never going to sell. Trippier, obviously, comes in to cover the ownership. I could go for more funds here and go to like a Dan Burn, or I could move Botman down to Burn. There's a reason why I haven't done that, and I'll explain that in a second. But I'm more click the wild card because I'm worried about this guy's ownership. At my rank, he's very highly owned. And look, with the next few fixtures, and even if you can, rotate him out maybe in the Arsenal game, the United game, the Chelsea game, even though they haven't really been attacking well those last two sides, as long as you got some cover, that's fine. I will say that he's probably so aggressive that I probably need to see him, just stay in the team and off we go. And as you can see, long term, all the way up to game week 19, there's some really good fixtures, and then you can probably whack him on the bench and play him again to your next wild card. So with that being said, Trippier is the guy. And with those fixtures, I'm not dropping Botman. Now, he may or may not play this week. I doubt he does. And if you see the Champions League lineup, which I have this morning before filming this, he's not made the cut, but he should be back from game week 9, which means he's very playable in game week 10, and in game week 12, and in game week 15, 17, 18, and 19, 23, 24, 25, which means when I'm playing Trippier and expecting clean sheets, I'm doubling up on the defence with Botman, who normally is nailed if he is not injured, and that is a very good thing to have. Lucky last, Matty Cash has gone up to 4.9, nearly 5 million. I actually bought him at the start of the week. I pulled my wild card on Sunday morning, which means I have already caught a couple of price rises on Matty Cash. He's the player for here and now. Some fixtures where we expect some clean sheets over the next 4 or 5. Then they get a little bit more difficult, but we can play him in 18, and we can obviously look at, 20, 21, and long term that there is some really good fixtures for Matty Cash. The other midfielders obviously speak about themselves. Maddison, Son, we've had since the start. I am captaining Son at the moment, but that is very depending on any press conference because he did come off the bench and got benched and he hasn't been 100% fit. If there is a rumour that he's not going to start, I will be captaining Salah against Brighton. I will not be captaining Haaland against Arsenal, but that midfield picks itself. Main reason for wildcard is getting Mbeumo to Diaby too. Diaby's fixtures are about to turn good. We saw what he did with Watkins. Obviously, fantastic side Villa when they go forward, and it all works well. And lucky last with Diaby too. He's 100% fit. He walked up the pitch. He clapped all the fans. They only took him off because the game was over. Yeah, of course you'd be a little bit sore if you got hacked all day, but that's fine. Then you've got Darwin, Haaland, and Archer. Main reason Archer's playing is they play Fulham, and I want Gordon on the wild card. With Harvey Barnes being injured, this is another reason for wildcarding. I can take a 5.6 asset from one of the top teams that is starting every week. He's just started in the Champions League, and at half-time, Newcastle up 2-0. He will get his rest against West Ham, which is probably arguably the most difficult fixture. And then I get a fixture run from an attacker. That's Palace, Wolves. Arsenal generally concede one. Bournemouth, Everton's in there, Fulham and Luton. And then by that stage, Harvey Barnes is getting back into the team around late December, Christmas time. It's nice to have an option like that and see what we can do. There's also a potential to pivot to Pedro Neto, and there's also a potential when Gordon if he does get phased out the team, to move Darwin down to another player, and then obviously move Gordon up to maybe an Eze who has dropped massively and is still a very good footballer. We also have Cabora on the bench. This could change to a Charlie Taylor. With the news that Estupin's out long term, I could even move to Lamptey, which I think I am going to do in this video here right now. And the main reason for that is Estupin's out for the next month, roughly. So with that being said, to get a playing defender from Brighton in Tariq Lamptey, I think is fine for the next little bit. Because Cabora is never going to move in price, so we're going to do that. And that means that in these really good fixtures, with the injury that is occurred to Estupin, I should get the fixtures of Fulham and Everton. And the next Fulham and Everton fixtures, then after that, Stupin comes in and we might move Tariq Lamptey to somebody else. But I do think for 3.9 mil, his team selected has gone up significantly since the news of Stupin has got injured. I just think next 2 game weeks, it's not great, but the 2 game weeks after that, potential clean sheets and attacking returns, even though Brighton have not been great. So that's my current draft. Let me know what you think of the draft down below. Let me know if you would change anything. Obviously, everyone's going to be shouting, Damien, but Watkins, why Darwin? Darwin's very, very simple. As a Liverpool fan, he's starting at least the next 3 because we've got Jota out suspended and we got Gakpo out and it did not look good at all. Now, I'm still waiting for, obviously, some team news for tomorrow for the Europa League, but I will tell you this right now. Darwin didn't play because he felt something in his knee, an international break. Nothing serious, but it was like, just, bench me, I'll come off the bench. And then against Spurs, that never transpired because of the red cards and the way the game was run by the referees and VAR. That we never had that opportunity. We had to go to a 9, bank of 5, or a bank of 3. With that being said, Darwin was never coming on. So Darwin's going to have a 4 week worth of rest. He probably plays some minutes in the Europa League. Doesn't bother me. And then we get a Brighton team that is very, very leaky, with Salah and Darwin starting together, and they have a very good combination record, those two. It also means that we get Darwin for the next few fixtures, and Darwin seems to be the guy that we seem to start in the weaker games. So I expect Darwin to start against Brighton with the injury and suspensions. I also expect Darwin to start against Everton, especially with the injury to Cody Gakpo. And then for Forest and Luton, maybe some slight rotation with Jota, and depends if Gakpo comes back. But my prediction is Darwin start the next 4, and then you'll see him get dropped for Brentford and City. And at that point, I'm probably planning on downgrading him because that's kind of what Klopp does. These weaker games, it's Darwin, and then in the stronger games, it's Gakpo for the press. I'm a big believer that this guy should be starting long-term for us. No questions asked. Definitely should. Now, in terms of money in the bank, 0.1 mil, you guys just saw me make the change with Lamptey. If you have a look with my team here as well, it gets a pretty decent rating, but not the greatest rating. And the main reason for that, it tells me I also got 0.5 in the bank and negative in the bank. I'm definitely fine. Main reason is Darwin doesn't get the expected minutes, and nor does Diaby with the injury. Obviously, that's fine. But yeah, if you have a look at the team, and Turner definitely plays against Palace with the injuries they've got. If you have a look at the team, a 97 predicted rating, 90 game week rating, and it puts me in a good spot where I can definitely roll next game week with this sort of team, as well. Turner again against Luton. You got the Palace without some of their key attackers. If Botman's 100% nailed and fit to start, I'll probably actually start Botman over Cash and put Cash first sub. And then you got Udogie, obviously, as well. And then you got Fulham, Everton, Fulham, West Ham, who I think will concede, obviously, and Gordon. And then Gordon against Palace before Haaland and Darwin as well. And I'm captaining probably Salah against Everton, even though Brighton have been a shambles. And then that leaves me 2 game week transfers here for game week 10. I've toyed with the idea of bringing Luca Digne in for Udogie, but considering the injuries that we've seen for Palace, I'm probably keeping Udogie 1 more week. In saying that, though, this is the week where I expect to move Maddison to Matoma, and that's to free up other funds to look to get a Stupian back. But obviously with the injury news here, that will change to me probably delaying that move for another week, or bringing Matoma in, not making a secondary change, probably leaving Digne out the team for 1 extra week, and then maybe have a look at that move. And also by that stage, Alex Moreno could be back, and then it might be me moving to Moreno as well. But that's kind of what we would do. Now, with that being said, that's kind of the episode here today. We've gone over Wildcard. It's no Watkins, which is high risk, high reward, and it's gone to Darwin. That's my punt. Outside of that, the rest of the team's quite template. There's not everyone's on triple Spurs at the moment because they would have taken Udogie out, or they've gone Son, not Maddison, to free up funds to get Watkins. I just think Darwin and Maddison will outscore Watkins and another midfielder, and I think going against Haaland captaincy for the next 4 weeks is very, very viable. Let me know what you think of the team down below. Give me a like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course, as well. Big shout out to the stream. We bought EAFC. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. I have got FIFA. It's the first time I've owned it in 3 years, or it's not called FIFA anymore, but I've had it for the first time in 3 years. So if you want to check those streams out, links down below to my Twitch. There will be Football Manager eventually in the next month or so when the new game comes out. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you and goodbye.